Dr. James Thornton, we are so grateful that you have come on the show to share your story with our viewers and our listeners. Would you please tell us what's going on in your life and in your K-12 career right now?
So right now, I am currently a middle school principal in southeastern region of the United States,
Okay.
in the Atlanta, Georgia suburban area.
ATL
And
in the
right
house.
now, ATL, yeah. So I'm year two. First year was a typical first year of just getting in, trying to get your systems in place, trying to get your procedures, people in position to carry out the vision. So right now I'm in year two.
Okay.
Super excited. Replaced 23 people. So I don't know if I replaced them. I gained 23 people that want to do it. What's best for kids. Want to keep them safe, want to keep them secure, keep them connected and future focused. So that's our ethos this year, is that we do that. So that's what I'm doing now in K-12. Super excited for the years to come. It's a destination job for me. This is definitely not something I just, I'm going to check the box. And so I'm there for a reason. I'm on assignment. And then until I'm no longer needed there, then experience.
That's awesome. You froze for a minute, Doc.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you
Uh-oh.
good now. You good now.
Okay. All right.
So let me ask you a question. Like you're in Henry County, which is a suburb that's kind of south of Atlanta. How long have you been in Henry County?
So I've been in Henry County for since 2008. So
Okay.
nearly 15 years. And in that time, been to three different schools in the district. One which would include an alternative school. So I was there for 4 years and went to the opposite end of the spectrum into the more affluent middle school that our district has to offer, if you will. So I got both of those experiences, and then was in a predominantly Black high school,
Okay.
African American high school, which the high school that actually came into,
Hmm.
that got me into Georgia as a coach and a
Okay.
head track coach. Yeah.
Awesome. So how
Yeah.
long total have you been in K-12 education, Dr. Thornton?
So this is year I got in '04. So what is this? 18? This is year
Wow.
18. Yeah.
Goes quick.
So goes quick. I got a couple of extra gray hairs. I didn't have these before the alternative school. Uh, After I got through that little tour, this came and the hair started falling out.
Oh, hey.
So yeah, so we're part of that
No
no
hair
hair
club for
ministry,
men. I call it no hair club for men.
no hair club. Yeah, so which is all cool, man. But I
Yeah.
wouldn't have taken any of those experiences away. I know that they're very much a part of how I was able to ascend, if you will, because
Sure.
there weren't any scenarios that you didn't experience in alternative school.
Yeah.
Wasn't one. It just wasn't one. So I'm grateful for that experience.
That's cool. So what made you get into K-12 education? Was this something you always wanted to do? Or, I always like to say that
Um,
education chose me. I mean, what about you?
I echo that same thing. So I play football in Oklahoma,
Okay.
and the fifth semester they told us you have to declare a major. So
Okay.
I remember going to the university center, and I went upstairs. I'll never forget this. And I took this test. It was like in a little room, and in the test it said that I would be three things, or was best equipped to be three
Okay.
things. One of which was the first one was a clown, and the second one was a police officer,
Okay.
and then the third one was a teacher.
Oh,
And I was like, well, I definitely don't want to be a clown. Like literally, I was like, hey, you'd be a great like put the makeup on, be a clown. So that was weird. Um, Police officer really wasn't necessarily something I wanted to do. So
hmm,
I said, well, I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to be a business major. And I remember going to one business class, and it was coding or something, and whatever it was, and it was nobody in there that looked like me.
wow.
Everybody was like, nobody spoke English. So I was like, I knew that wasn't for me.
Hmm.
And then I said I was going to be a forensic scientist.
Okay.
So I started taking chem classes, biology, because I love that, and that was easy. Um, but I talked to this one guy, and this is really what changed it all. I was in the university center, and this gentleman came up to me who had a master's in forensic science, and he said, it'd be a mistake. Don't do it. He said, you need to be a teacher. I was like, I don't want to be around kids. And then I started student teaching. And then, of course, in me student teaching, the guy that I was student teaching with got in trouble for child pornography. So the police came, the feds came, and they arrested him at the school. It was like this big, crazy ordeal. And at that point, a teacher was born because they said, do you want a job? Because he's obviously not coming back. Wow. Do you want a job? I said, yes. And then that's how I started. And I started coaching. She said, you had to take 3 coaching positions. Do you want to coach? I was like, I know nothing about coaching. She was like, well, if you want this job, you're going to have to coach. So I coached girls basketball. It was my first ever coaching gig, 7th grade girls basketball, and had to coach track and football. And that's how it started. That's awesome. So it chose me. I was going to be anything but in education. And said, no, you're going to be in education. And then things just start happening, and it just kind of evolved. And so I got out for a moment to go coach college football. Okay. Because the check for middle school in Oklahoma was like, I think it was $1,100 for a month. Oh, wow. And I was like, I can't do this. Mm-hmm. So I got online and started talking to all the guys I play football with, and got offered a position at a small school up in northeastern part of Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And started coaching. They paid for my master's degree. And then I came back into the field of education. That's when I arrived at Georgia. At Georgia as a football coach. So wow, kind of worked out.
Yeah. So you played football in college?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. What position did you play?
I played safety in college. So
that's awesome.
Safety, linebacker, but I played safety.
Awesome. Yeah. What college did you play football at?
Central Oklahoma.
Nice. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how I got there.
That's good. So you obviously you came to Georgia, you started teaching, you said you were at an alternative school. What was that like, working at alternative school?
Wow. It was I don't know where to start. It was every day. Okay, let me say this. Some days it felt like we literally was stealing money because it ran like a machine. Sure. It was like, man, this is awesome. And there's no kids here. It's 100 kids here, maybe 60 kids here. Mm-hmm. And that was in August and September, and around October, the honeymoon's over for kids in school. They've gotten them the certain amount of hearings, and now they're coming to us. So when it got up to like 200 kids in that building, because every Monday you get a new crop of students, sure. And depending on what gang they come from, and what gangs are already there, you have to navigate that. It depends on what kid that was a good kid. The star guy that's going to Clemson next year to play quarterback, when he gets kicked out of school, that brings a whole nother level of just personnel that comes to school. So that experience was very, very, every time I talk to a parent, they have a lawyer, every single time, because at this point they've already kicked out of school. But yeah, I think that experience was probably the most traumatic, because those kids will go out in the community and murder a kid. Wow. Come back to school. They'll steal a vehicle. It'll be parked in the parking lot. So you'll have SWAT come and get them. They have drugs on them all the time. And, they're hiding it up in the ceiling. So needless to say, I can spot them, at this point. But the preparation for anything, you got it. And then you had to still have a level of instruction going on. You still expected to make games. Yeah. You still expected them. You still have to close the loop, no matter what comes in front of you. So in that regard, I think I get any kid to move academically. I think I can do that just because I was able to do it in that environment. so that experience was, I did 4 years, and I asked to be transferred out.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to get stuck as the alternative guy.
That's a good point.
So I said, I need to be transferred out. And so I got out for sure.
Cool. And so at that point, did you go to a middle school or?
Yeah. So that point I went to a middle school, and I specifically asked not to go to this middle school by name. When my executive officer, he was like, hey, well, and I said, hey, listen, what I don't want to do is I don't want to go to this middle school because there's no Black kids out there, and they don't need me out there. And he was like, all right, cool. Well, I'll come back in 2 weeks and I'll let you know kind of what your options are. Came back and said, no, if you want to leave, you're going to go to this school. I was like, they don't need me out there. But then I went out there, and there's a need for me out there. So it was, again, another experience because there isn't nobody lives in apartments in that school. There's not an apartment one. Everybody's driving. It's money. It's influence. It's anything you could possibly want. But there's also this silver lining, right? So, hey, you might not want to show your tattoos. Hey, you might want to shave. And I wasn't doing any of that. So I wasn't going to shave, and I wasn't going to not show any tattoos. Yeah. Because they might look at you differently. You're the Black guy with the beard and tattoos. And I told my boss that it doesn't matter anything about that. It matters what comes out of my mouth and how I treat their kids. And so I went with that. And it I don't want to say it worked because it was just going to be what it's going to be, but it worked. And so I went to the middle school after that.
That's cool. And so then from that middle school, is that where you ended up at the current school you're at now?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. From there, because they were performing. So that was a barrier too, right? Because they're already high performing. Right. And so what do you do with an already high performing school? Well, then you got to move those 3s to 4s. And that's a whole different approach to going from an alternative school where you're just trying to get them boys to read. Yeah. But now I'm trying to get them to read at a higher level with more complex text and, have to just lean on them differently. Make sure that they're taking AP honor courses, make sure that they're passing those exams. So it was a very different push. But me and my team, we were able to do that, which catapulted me into the position that I am now, because I was able to speak to the things that we were able to accomplish in that environment.
That's cool.
Oh, I froze.
You froze for a minute, but that's fine. Don't worry. We can fix that. Okay. So, Doc, I have a question for you. Like, there's a lot of, all the newspapers and media outlets are just saying we're in the great resignation in America, right? All the people, you even alluded to it with all the people that, you're having to replace with people that want to be there. What did you say, 24 people this year?
Yeah.
That's a lot, man.
23, that's a lot. Yeah, 23, 24.
23, 24 in a middle school, that's a lot, right? So yeah, I definitely get it. I guess my question is, what do you say to people that are watching us right now, that A, might be new to the profession and they're thinking about quitting, or B, might be in college and they're thinking, oh, okay, well, maybe I could consider K-12 education. What would you say to them? What would be your words of wisdom to people like that?
I would say don't fight the feeling, right? Like, not to be cliche, but don't fight that overwhelming burden that you have for people and that desire to be around a certain group of people, ergo students, right? So you have this feeling, that you're in this job right now, you're making great money, but this isn't for you, right? You're over here, you're selling cars and you're in business and you're doing real estate, and that's awesome. But what's really going to be more fulfilling is that to fulfill is to scratch that desire that you really have for students. It's allow education to validate what you already know about yourself. You already know that you want to be a teacher. You already know you have a lot inside of you that you want to share. You already know that because you've had a great experience with in education K-12, or you had a terrible experience at K-12 that you want to either go in it for those reasons or because you didn't like it, or you want to be the teacher that you didn't have. Right. So I think we all in K-12 at some point remember that coach, that teacher that impacted you, even if it was just a few words, and you want to be that person, but you're afraid because you hear the horror stories. Right. Yeah. And those horror stories are usually from people that probably shouldn't have went into education in the first place. So got to consider the source of where you're getting this information. I'm not getting out of education. I'm going to edify everybody that is choosing to stay in the business, because those people that are saying that they no longer want to be in it, there's so many layers to the why, right? Your home life. COVID revealed a lot of things about people that you didn't know about yourself. Really, you were leaving the house all the time, so your marriage was awesome. But now that you're at home, education's bad? No, you just don't have a great marriage because you didn't establish a great foundation. So that's a totally different deal, but you want to make them one and the same, right? Sort of like people who are married, you have roommate issues and you have marriage issues. Don't make them the same. So you have educational, environmental issues, and then you have people that shouldn't be in the industry issues, and don't make those the same. Try it out. Give it 3 years. It's going to be a ton to learn, but just understand you're really, really, really impacting people's lives forever. I love it. Typically, they're only going to pass their way one time, but you're going to get older, and those kids are going to be the same age every year. I'm going to see 11 to 13-year-olds every year. 100%. I'm going to get older. Oh, they're going to stay. I'll get older, but yeah, just don't fight that internal desire. We weren't all put on the planet to be teachers, right? I mean, some of us were put on the planet to be millionaires or ditch diggers or plumbers, and everybody has that in them. I think everybody has a level of teaching in them. Sure. I think everybody has a teacher in them. Yeah. It's just, you just don't do it because of so many different reasons. So I encourage any and everybody that's considering getting into the field to get you a great man inside and outside the classroom. Get under great leadership. You don't get to choose your leader, but challenge your leader to challenge you.
Oh, I like that. Challenge your leader to challenge you. I like that.
Yeah. Because if they're not challenging you, then they're not really doing their job. There's a responsibility they have to make you good enough to leave, but choose not to because they really enjoy the environment, right? That's my whole job. I need to train you in ways that you could leave me tomorrow and go to another school. However, you stay because you value that the value add, right? Like I'm adding value to you. And I think if you can get up under leadership where they truly are adding value, treat you like a human being, and love on you when you need it, and then give you that push when you need it, then I think in the right environment. So be selective, right? It's a teacher's market right now, so be selective. If you're praying person, pray. If you're not, 100%. Then light some sage or something. I don't know, but figure out whatever you need to do to get your mind settled and understanding that it's going to be worth it.
What'd you say, Doc? Light some sage, huh?
Yeah, that's what you're into, man. Hey, no worries, no judgment. Shake it up, put the bottle, I don't know, whatever you want to do. I'm good with it. Either way, just show up to work.
I love it. Whatever works, Doc, whatever works.
Yeah.
Well, Doc, I feel like we have the greatest profession in the world. I really feel like that, we're the profession that makes all other professions possible. Absolutely. Why do you believe that the K-12 profession is such a great profession?
I echo the same sentiments, but I just truly believe that there's not very many professions, one, that you get on the job training from the time that you're 6 years old. There's no other profession. And so you're actually honing your skills for what you like, what you don't like. Kind of alluded to this earlier about what kind of teacher do you want to be? Yeah. Right. So the young ladies, they're teaching their dolls. Young men, we find a way to lead other young men, whether that's through a sport or just outside when playing basketball. So yeah, I just think that K-12 is such a it's such a broad and whole. It's like such a whole profession. It's not like it's such a because you're always learning.
Yeah.
And whether you're being taught it on purpose or you're picking it up along the way, we're always learning. And so in the K-12 profession, we truly have an opportunity to take all of our learned experiences, all our lived experiences, put them into practice each and every day. And what I love about it most is you always get tomorrow, and there's always next year.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I love most about K-12 because, hey, I didn't get it right this year.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm going to reflect. I'm going to re-energize, and I'm going to come back and I get another go. A lot of other professions you don't get next year.
That's true.
If your numbers aren't right in business, you may not be coming back, right?
Yeah.
COVID revealed that you don't know what next year is going to be like. So take the opportunity to go as hard as you can in the time that you have, because it could literally switch tomorrow. And I know it impacted other industries, but nothing quite like public education.
That's true.
Nothing quite like us having to do contact tracing, plus worry about our own personal health, right? Plus be able to be agile and you don't have anybody in your buildings, and to go virtual and to go back and to do all of that. So yeah, K-12 is just such a it's just a special niche and it's been going on since the beginning of time.
Sure.
From Plato to it's been going on. So I just want people to really understand that it's special. And I don't think that the industry gets as much respect as it deserves.
100%.
I think that we get treated like you're supposed to and you should, and why don't you? We get a lot of that instead of how can I, what do you need? Let me partner with you truly, even in a good and a bad time. So I just think it's the best profession on the planet. I wouldn't have spent my time, energy, and money into maximizing my education in it, getting to the level, doctor just like yourself, because that's how much I believe in it, right? So I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and I'm going to max it out and continue to learn. So
love it. So Doc, you've already made it clear earlier in our conversation that, the position you're currently in is not a stepping stone position, right?
Correct.
But let's say after this conversation, I don't see Dr. Thornton for 5 years. Well, look, we're fast friends. We are going to see each other. But let's say I wasn't going to see you.
Yeah.
And I saw you 5 years from now. Where's Dr. Thornton going to be?
So I move by the Spirit. Okay. So what I can say is that I'll be around people, and I will be continuing to intentionally change people's lives. It may not be in K-12 education. It may be in higher ed. It may be at the local church. It may be coaching soccer. But in 5 years, just know that I'll be around people and I will still be trying to pour in just as much as I have been. I feel like I've been given a lot in my life, right? So I really feel that I can't, when I go on to the next phase of my life, die, whatever, I really just do not want to be standing there talking to God and he asked, or she asked, it might be a girl, I don't know. But whenever I get there and whomever asks, like, hey, did you empty the tank? Or did you leave some for yourself? And I want to say, I emptied the tank. So I always want to be able to say that I emptied the tank, right? So if I empty the tank, who's feeling I'm not worried about what's getting filled back, because that fills me as I empty, right? So yeah, wherever I will be emptying the tank, so that whenever I stand in front of whomever, and also there's going to be an optimal version of me that I also will be able to see whenever this is all over with, and I hope that we look the same, right? Like I hope that I don't look at that person like, man, you look happy. And I took this road up here because it was easy, but it wasn't the road I was supposed to take. So I just hope that when I meet James, Jonathan, Ray Thornton, standing there, wherever that is, he's like, hey man, welcome. And I'm like, hey, welcome. And we're the same.
I love it.
So that's what I'm hopeful for the next 5 years, that I just contribute or continue to head towards that person. And I'm open because, like I said before, like I'm on assignment. When that assignment's over, I won't feel any way about leaving. And the people that are there that were under my leadership, they'll know that Thornton gave us everything he had, and I know he's going to go do great things. And I want you to work for the next person, because hopefully I've taught you enough about me and my leadership that it's okay to be led and to be and just be challenged by them, right? So leave if you're not challenged, but if they continue to challenge and grow you, then hopefully that will be what I leave with whomever is there when I get ready to go in 5 years.
All right. That sounds really, really good. So y'all heard that. Y'all heard it from Dr. Thornton himself. Die on E.
Yeah.
Don't leave nothing in the tank.
No.
Right?
No.
Dr. Thornton also said don't have any regrets. Right?
Nah. Don't live life of regrets, man. You're gonna have a little life of pain, but it's gonna be, the pain of regret or the pain of, denying yourself that, right? Like you're going to have some level of pain.
Right.
Pain going through it or the pain of regret. You choose. You will experience pain.
No, that's fair.
Yeah. So I'd rather go through it.
Yeah. I mean, if we have the pain of regret, that can be fixed. But if I'm going through something to get to something, I'm okay with it. Right.
Pain, no doubt. You're going to experience it. Yeah. Choose it. Choose wisely, because you're going to experience it. For sure.
I love it. So, Doc, we coming to the end of the interview, but before we end this interview, I want to take a moment to thank you. You have been working in the field of education for over 18 years. And one of the reasons why I started the My K12 Career Show is to celebrate and honor K-12 educators and leaders like yourself for all the hard work that you do each and every day in your schools and in your school's community. So I really want to thank you for all that you've done for your school that you're currently at and all the previous schools that you've worked at. So thank you so much for all the great work that you've done. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I would be remiss not to thank you, Dr. Williams. I know we were trying to get together before now. Timing is everything. Like I said, I'm a man of a spirit, and now there's nobody up. I'm not traveling from practice. So I just want to express a great deal of gratitude towards you. And I wish you nothing but the best. And the program, the show, your future guests, man, that they come on and they contribute to the work that you've already done. Thank you for the work that you've done up to this point and the work that you're going to do. I know the people that you touched along the way are grateful for that. So thank you for that, brother. And whatever you need from me, I'll be more than willing to empty the tank.
I love it.
On YouTube. So
I appreciate
that.
Before we leave, man, I just want you to give our viewers that are listening and watching you right now some parting words of wisdom. Tell us how we can connect with you, and then we'll say goodbye.
Okay. Absolutely. So my parting words would be, embrace the hairy monster that is the burden of education and the teacher inside of you. Face that monster, befriend that monster, and just know that monster will then become your how do I say, it's going to be what you're going to need. You're going to need that beast sometimes to get through education, but I just encourage you to embrace it. It's there, it's inside of you. And just don't run from it. Just embrace it, and to always consider emptying that tank on a daily basis.
I love it.
Not your cup, right? That's different.
Yeah.
But your tank, because you can always get more gas, right? And then how you can connect with me. You can connect with me on Instagram, King Conan. I got to get all my stuff together now that I'm doctor. So I'm revamping everything. And hopefully when I come back on the show, I'll have a book to share with you guys called Memoirs of a First Year Principal. Awesome. And, speaking engagements and that sort of thing. So super excited about that. I'm definitely going to be asking you, Dr. Williams, to maybe do a forward or something.
Oh, I would love to. I would love to.
Yeah. About just good, K-12 education where we're at. So that's where we're at. But so you can find me on Instagram, King Conan. You can find me on Facebook at James Thornton. So
that's how we can do it, brother. All right. Well, like I said, brother, I really appreciate you coming on the show, and you already answered my final question to you. Will you be willing to come on the show and just kind of share with us, once your book comes out, just kind of keep us up to date on how your second year is going in Henry County Schools at Hampton Middle. So really appreciate you coming on the show. Definitely wish you all the best. I definitely see greatness within you. As that old saying goes, God is not through with you yet. The best is yet to come, brother. All the best.
Thank you. I appreciate it.